have our hip thrust complex. So it's called the complex because I'm gonna do different variations, 3 different variations in one set. So I'm gonna do 12 reps. Once it feels a little bit too heavy to feel isolation in my glutes, I'll probably do a, I like this one. Oh, I'll probably do a dead stop to finish out those 12 reps. And then I'm gonna do 6 bottom reps. And then I'm gonna do 6 deficit extensions. And that's all one set. So this is one of my favorite complexes to do for hip thrust. And if you are programming hip thrust various times throughout the week, maybe you're hitting glutes Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and you want to do a variation of hip thrust every single time, I think that's a great idea. You just don't want to do the same exact thing every single time, or I wouldn't. I would play with, like I said, a dead stop, or you can play with the rep scheme and do like FST7, things like that. You can play with the weights and the reps to accomplish the goal, but it doesn't have to be like the same thing every time if you're hitting it multiple times throughout the week. So, very intricate fun fact about these. I just like made this up where I put these bands on the edges. I don't know, it just felt good because then I can hold on to the bands and I feel more stable. And then this dude came over to me and was like, hey, I work for NASM. Like, I've never seen anyone do that. And NASM is National Academy of Sports Medicine. And like, a lot of people get certifications from NASM. And he's like, why are you doing it like that? And I was like, I don't know, I just feel like more stable, like my lats are stabilized. And he's like, you should trademark that. And I was like, maybe. No, I don't know how to go about that process. But anyway, you're gonna loop these on. This comes in handy for later when you're doing the extensions. And then I'm gonna get this. Okay. This is my tactile cue to drive my knees outside of my hips to keep more tension in my glute ham tie and my upper glute. So first up is regular reps. Going into bottom reps. Deficit reps. You know what's burning is my glute ham ties. Sheesh! Mind you, 9+ weeks out. The hams are hamming. I'm excited. All right, set 2. We went up in weight. So if I feel like I'm not isolating in my regular reps, I'll start to dead stop. So I'll take 2 to 3 seconds before each rep. And I wanna explode on the way up. Form on hip thrust is so important. If you're feeling anything in your lower back, drop the weight. Your hip thrust, like I see people doing like 6 plates on hip thrust. If you can isolate that in your glutes, you're Superwoman. That's insane. So watch my form while I'm hitting these. It is so important. The biggest cue that I can give, and something that you should always focus on when you're hitting hip thrust, you never want your hips to be behind your ribs. Here's my ribs, here's my hips. They should never be in this alignment. Your hips should always be stacked under your ribs. So if you feel your pelvis starting to go like this, you're then starting to get into your erectors and therefore not in your glutes. What's gonna happen is maybe it's the box is too high, or maybe you don't feel safe enough for your chest to follow you down. You feel like the box is gonna slide back. Whatever it is, you need to make sure that your chest is following your movement. If it stays up here while your hips go down, that's when you start to get into that weird position. So before you even start, you want to make sure that you're in a posterior tilt. So my starting position is not like this. You see my back? This is not my starting position, okay? I need to get myself right. I'm gonna bring my feet in a little bit. I really like putting pressure in the big toe. I feel that a lot in my glutes. And then I'm going to posterior tilt before I start, okay? That's my starting position, is here. It's not here, here. Okay, now I'm gonna go. Regular hip thrusts. Watch my chest, follow. All the way down. Where you're building the glute ham ties is in tension in that bottom position. Here, big toe, big toe, big toe, up. Watch my elbows. They bend when I go down, straighten. I'm gonna start to dead stop. All right, bottom reps. Ow! Extensions. For my extensions, I'm driving my feet as hard as I can into the thing here, the rig and the bar. I'm at a deficit with my feet. See that my butt's down here, but my feet are up there? That gives me more range of motion. Here, I'm stabilizing my upper body and my lats so I feel more comfortable. Drive your knees out, drive your feet into the bar. You're already in that scoop position, and then you're gonna extend in that scoop. So you're in a posterior tilt at the top. Hips closest to your ribs. I'm gonna drive my knees out all the way down while I'm driving my feet really hard into the bar. All the way down and scoop. This is as hard as you make it. One more. the rep doesn't end until I'm on the floor. You're lucky I love you guys because that was hard to talk through. I'm out of breath. Pump jack. I'm in fact not gonna go up and wait. Last set. My glute ham ties are burning. Now I'm imagining Francielle Matos, her glute ham ties on stage. Epic. My gym bag is like Mary Poppins gym edition. That was my favorite complex, hands down, for hip thrust. Now, each one of those variations is freaking awesome individually, and I totally would program those three at different variations of my prep. Currently, I'm only hitting glutes twice a week. So on Mondays, like my complex day, I hit like big muscle groups and I go really heavy, and then I isolate some glutes with FST7 regular hip thrust. And then today, Saturday, I do this complex because I love all three and they target different parts of my glutes and are just an awesome way to isolate the glutes, and especially the glute ham ties. So try this out. Let me know if you like it. Let me know what you're struggling with hip thrust, because they seem like, oh, it's just hip thrust, you know, like everyone does them. They're actually really intricate, and stupid things like the box being too high could completely, epically make the hip thrust a fail. So yeah, let me know if you need other specific cues or tips on hip thrust, what you're running into. Like maybe you're running into a wall, maybe you're not feeling the isolation in your glutes. Let me know and I'll make another video on it. But thanks for tuning in, and let me know what you want to see next time.